Hello, I'm Howard Houchen, candidate for the United States House of Representatives representing Oklahoma's District 2. First, I would like to thank you for taking the interest and the time to visit our website. It is this interest and effort you are exhibiting at this very moment that is the first step to begin the process of restoring the uniquely American dedication to the principles our Founding Fathers and generations of leaders and citizens alike cherished and practiced, that formed the building blocks of American enterprise, ingenuity, and the American ideals of freedom and liberty. I desperately want to revive the America you and I and millions of others once knew. Revive her, as she so rightly deserves, to the mantle of history's finest and lasting achievements. The most common question I am asked, and rightly so, is why? Why are you running? The answer reflects my Oklahoma heritage and the deep-seated love I have for our country. I have somewhat passively watched our nation be taken down a path that she was not intended to travel. We as citizens have as our only recourse a voice and a vote. Our voices are repeatedly ignored, and our votes are subject to the suasion of money and slick marketing. After being approached by many fellow citizens to consider this run, no longer can we resist the right we possess as American citizens to act. For me, as I believe for most of you, the line in the sand that we draw with respect to what we will accept from our federal government has finally been crossed. As Oklahomans, we believe that you can only be given so many chances, so much time, and we are not unreasonable in this respect. We also mean it when that abstract line that we place on government is crossed. Oklahomans love our country with a passion that is not to be tested nor questioned, and we will not hesitate to fight for what we truly hold as just and right. Increased federal government intrusions into our private property and our private lives has now placed the current ruling guard on the other side of our line, the line we as citizens have drawn. Recent history has shown us that neither moniker, Republican nor Democrat, guarantees the political will to act on the tough decisions that are now becoming increasingly entrenched and troublesome for fear of political backlash. Conservative principles cannot and must not be set aside for sake of acquiring or maintaining political power. We who espouse the conservative thought must stand by our principles to the bitter end if necessary. The conservative Democrats of old have already lost their party to the special interest in liberal thought and expansionist government that many of our proud Democrat grandparents would find abhorrent. I choose to fight for the heart and soul of the Republican Party, to not let it follow that path of destruction and liberalism that those on the far left have latched onto in false hope and resulted in the loss of personal responsibility and opportunity for our current and future generations. Oklahomans are conservative, no matter what label they place on their registration forms, and Oklahomans are who I am going to Washington to represent and hope to inspire the conservatives in both the Republican and Democratic Party to remember and fight for as well. We must now, as common, hard-working, plain-speaking Oklahoma neighbors, take up the banner of freedom and conservatism and shout that message from the Kiamishi Mountains, from the Okies in Muskogee, from the lands surrounding Lake Eufaula, and from the plains of Will Rogers country. Shout it all to Washington. And I am proud to stand with you as an Oklahoman first, with love for our state and our country as the root of my desire to serve, and the pride that Americans still have in the finest country God ever blessed. We must act. We must join together in an undeniable demand that we claim our values, our security, our children, our country, and the rights defined in the Constitution as our birthright. And we'll hold our legislators accountable to preserve those rights for our children and our country's future. With your help, we can turn the present situation into one that was intended. Instead of Oklahoma, being dictated to by Washington, we need to reverse the course and provide guidance to Washington. Thank you so much for listening, and God bless America.